TV2, the home for the best in local high school sports talk and sports high school play-by-play as well. I'm Bill Morgan as we head into the heart of the 2015 high school football season. This week focused on Strasburg Tiger football. The Tigers off to a 2-1 start. Coming up as this week's show continues, we'll talk with Tiger third-year head coach John Cox, as well as talk with a couple of the Tiger players certainly making this team go in 2015. Jacob Fonrist, one of their big offensive and defensive linemen, and junior Henry Malkowit. It's all when TV2 Sports Talk from Ron Hurst Field in Strasburg continues on DMG Channel 2 from Time Warner Cable. This episode of Sports Talk is brought to you by J. Dempson and Son Concrete. After this rough winter, you may need to repair or replace your patio, sidewalk, steps, or driveway. If you're considering any of these projects, give J. Dempson and Son Concrete a call at 330-795-0169 for a free estimate. Keep your home looking its best with J. Dempson and Son, with over 55 years of combined experience making satisfied customers.
WJER and TV2 would like to introduce you to a new website, WJERTV2.com, where you can watch exciting high school football, soccer, and volleyball replays from TV2 Sports on your home computer, smartphone, or tablet. Also watch the latest episodes of TV2's original programming, Sports Talk, The Garden Girl, The Not So Shy Chef, Off the Record, and Medical Minutes, as well as catch up on local community news and search for local businesses. So make sure to check out the new WJERTV2.com community website where everything's local.
TV2 Sports Talk rolls on DMG Channel 2 from Time Warner Cable. This week our focus, Strasburg Tiger football. They are off to a 2-1 start in the 2015 season. Happy to be joined by Tigers head coach John Cox. And Coach, I guess that's what we want to talk about, the start to the season. Let's face it, when they made the coaching change, you guys faced, like coaching staffs do, a unique set of challenges. What are the biggest improvements you've seen in your team here about a third of the way through the season from a year ago?
Well, I know one thing's for sure. We're definitely stronger. You know, at the end of last season, the guys were committed to getting stronger. We knew why we were 1-9 last year, and they started the week after the season ended last year, and they didn't quit working out all season. So I definitely noticed a change in his strength, and I think I noticed a change in their confidence too. I mean, they seem more confident about getting out here and playing football. I think in the past they just kind of had a defeatist mentality. They just didn't. They weren't confident in themselves, and when we walk out of that locker room now, it's a different mindset altogether. I can see it in their eyes. They're very confident and not cocky. You know, there's a fine line there, and they're definitely just confident kids that know what they're capable of doing, and they go out and do it.
Coach, having said that, I guess what do you guys do, what did you guys do to try and sort of shake that tree and get some of that confidence? It's great for people that to write in the paper or talk on TV and the radio to say, well, they need to have a more positive mental attitude. Well, when you've had several losing seasons in a row, that's a challenge. How did you guys make it happen?
Well, you know, you pump those tires a little bit, you know. You quit getting on guys as much, and you try to get them to understand that, hey, look at the change from last year till this year, you know. And we just brought those things up a lot in practice. I mean, it's football. You're still going to get on guys. It's the sport where, you know, I believe it's a tough sport, and you got to coach kids tough. But, you know, we really did a lot to boost their confidence by, you know, really praising them when we saw great things in practice and things like that, you know, and especially during film when we see great things happen, and we're constantly pumping those tires, as I like to say, to get them to understand that you are different now, and I think they're buying into it now. That's the biggest difference.
Strasburg head coach John Cox as the Tigers get ready for the kickoff to the IVEC season coming up on Saturday as they take on Tuscarawas Central Catholic. Coach, let's talk about your team beginning defensively. Everybody usually likes to start by talking offense because they put points on the board, but the saying goes, I don't know if it's true, you're a coach, you'll tell me, defense wins championships. Tell us about the Tigers on D.
Well, you know, I feel like we got a really strong defense. I mean, we don't have any shutouts or anything like that, but I think what we have is like a bend don't break defense. They get tougher when we get down there in the red zone. And you know, last Friday night, for example, you know, that second half, it was a completely different unit altogether. They held them to 1 score in the second half. We were facing a East Knox quarterback that was a really strong runner, which is going to aid to us this week, because I believe that Dean Green for the Saints is that same kind of an athlete, a game-changing quarterback. But, you know, we rally to the football. And what I like about it is it's a unit. And I think any team has a defense that's a unit. I think of that militaristic mentality. Them guys fight together, and they have that mindset going into every game. We got some big hitters over there, but, you know, it's always good to see 11 hats fly into the football. And, you know, when I made the highlight film this week, I commented to them guys about how I didn't know what to pick as far as putting on there defensive-wise, because there were so many situations where I saw 11 black hats fly into the football. And it's them guys. I told them, you guys got to be hungry. You want to have more tackles than your buddy, and it should be a competition, but a friendly competition, which is going to end up helping the team in the long run.
Coach, tell us about some of the individuals who make that defense up, whether you feel like your strengths are along the defensive line, the linebacking core, or in the secondary.
Well, you know, inside on our defensive line, you know, we have Jacob Fondrist and Austin Sims, and those two guys are, you know, the prototypical nose and tackle that you want in a 4-3 defense. And those guys take up blockers. They allow our linebackers to make plays. They're just, both of those guys weigh about 275 pounds, and, you know, they're bigger than me. So I always love my big boys up, and those two guys are really a big part of it. You know, we have some guys playing on the edge. You know, one guy stands out. I call him the hitman, Justin Strapke. He's a sophomore. You know, he's one of the surest tacklers on our team, and when you got a guy out there on that island, you want to have a good tackler out there, and Justin has been amazing for us this year, setting the tone with some big hits in all of our games. And, you know, when they run a sweep to that side and I see him out there, I pretty much rest easy knowing that Justin is going to bring him down. Jay DeBacco, he's our middle linebacker right now, and, you know, I always look at that guy as the quarterback of the defense, and, you know, he's got a couple guys on each side of him. Andrew Cregan and Nate Bonar, both guys that run really, really well. And, you know, I think about our secondary as a whole being strong. You know, we got some holes to fill this week, losing a guy, but, you know, Dylan Mullins at safety, and this week we're going to have Shevin Javersack out. So we may end up moving some guys around, and one of those outside linebackers might be going to play in the secondary this week. But that's what I like about this bunch. We're very versatile. So, you know, at any point we may need to make some changes, and when you're dealing with numbers like we do, you know, early on in the summer, we get kids ready to be those multiple position players. And, you know, those are some guys that have stood out. Henry Malkowit, a good cover cornerback. This is his 3rd year as a starter. You know, these guys are doing a great job for us. Garnet Von Kennel's play at defensive end has been outstanding. You know, he's that name stands out in Tuscarawas County, but for another sport. But right now for this Strasburg football team, that name means nobody's getting outside of him, and I'm real pleased with what I've saw from him this year.
Strasburg head coach John Cox coming up as this week's show continues. We'll talk with a couple of the Tigers making this team go in 2015, and we'll visit more with the coach coming up a little bit later on. It's all when TV2 Sports Talk continues on DMG Channel 2 from Time Warner Cable.
Searching for quality bottled water? Call Crystal Springs Water Company. Crystal Springs Water is a family-owned and operated company that's been proudly serving the community since 1986. Crystal Springs offers a quality bottled water in a variety of sizes to suit your everyday needs. They also carry a selection of water coolers, cups, bottle racks, hydro pumps, and premium water softening salts. All available for pickup or delivery. Call Crystal Springs Water Company today.
As a parent, we always want what's best for our child. In the case of one child, it may be going off to college. In another case, staying home and going to college. And yet, in other cases, it could be going right into the workforce. But how will they have the skills to do that? Buckeye Career Center has been the answer for one of our daughters. She's learning to do things with her hands that are going to be very valuable for her in the workplace. And we're excited we have Buckeye to thank for that.
Adults who return to Buckeye Career Center to continue their education usually have one goal in mind. They want the opportunity for a better job. The fact is, adult education programs at Buckeye Career Center are less expensive and provide greater opportunities for job placement following graduation. It's your future. Get the facts. Buckeye Career Center. We put people to work. Find out more about your future at buckeyecareercenter.org.
Talking Tiger football this week on TV2 Sports Talk from DMG Channel 2 from Time Warner Cable. I'm Bill Morgan, and a lot of broadcasters, they want to talk to the quarterbacks and the wide receivers and the people who score the touchdowns. Not that I dislike those guys, but I like talking to the guys who get the job done down in the trenches. They don't get a lot of print in the newspaper. We don't talk a lot about them on the radio. I like to talk to them. One of those guys is to my left, Jacob Fonris from Strasburg. And Jacob, while we talk about those guys, those other positions making big plays, you made a big play last week on special teams. Yeah. Walk us through what that was like on that punt block when you not only blocked the punt, but you grabbed it and you were off to the races.
Well, most big guys aren't expected to score touchdowns, so I mean, just being able to do that felt amazing. You know, I always said it as I fulfilled the fat man's dream, and was able to score a touchdown. I mean, blood was pumping. I was excited, and once I scored it, and then that was a game changer. That tied the game up, and then the guys, we all put it all together, and we finished what we needed to do.
Now, Jacob, a little birdie told me that maybe sometime in the past year or two you have lobbied the leader of this football program to maybe go in the backfield style, to get a couple of carries, to try and find the end zone. True, not true? Now at least you found the end zone, even if it wasn't from the backfield.
Yeah, it was a little true. I mean, I was just trying to see what I could do, just mess around a little bit. But that's not where they want me, and that's fine by me. I have bigger shoes to fill down in the line, and that's where I need to be. And I've been working hard, trying to figure out what I can do to get us to score touchdowns as many times as possible a game, and do what I can to keep my players, my quarterback and running backs, getting from point A to point B.
Strasburg's Jacob Fonris, our guest on TV2 Sports Talk from DMG Channel 2 on Time Warner Cable. I guess take us through what you like better, offense, defense, playing along those lines.
Right now, I think I'm going to go with offense, because last game the offensive line really worked as a unit real well, and sometimes we had trouble doing that. But last game we really worked together, and once we started working together, we were able to see what we were able to do, and we were actually driving the ball a lot better than what we had in the past. And just seeing that get done, and knowing that I'm moving this pile from point A to point B, and we're having a lot of rushing yards, it feels great. I mean, Henry busted off a 80-some yard rush, and that was because the line got him to where he needed to go, got him the hole, and that feels great. There's no better feeling than that, and I like doing that, I guess.
Jacob, as we wrap up our conversation, take us off the field. Before you know it, you'll be graduating from Strasburg High School. Any idea yet on what your plans will be for the future?
Right now I'm stuck between a decision between going into the Air Force and maybe doing air traffic controlling, or going into the medical field and becoming a physical therapist assistant. I'm not really sure what I want to do yet, but I still got some time to decide on what I want. So,
Strasburg's Jacob Fonris, our guest on TV2 Sports Talk. And as this week's show continues, we're going to talk with one of his Tiger teammates, Henry Malkowit, about his contributions to the team as well, all when TV2 Sports Talk rolls on.
Well, I woke up to the sound of silence and cars. We're cutting like knives in a fist fight. And I found you with a tear in your eye, your head in the curtains and heart like the 4th of July.
You swore and said, we are not shining stars. This I know. I never said we are.
If you're lost and alone, or you're sinking like a stone, carry on. May your past be the sound of your feet
This episode of Sports Talk is brought to you by J. Dempson and Son Concrete. After this rough winter, you may need to repair or replace your patio, sidewalk, steps, or driveway. If you're considering any of these projects, give J. Dempson and Son Concrete a call at 330-795-0169 for a free estimate. Keep your home looking its best with J. Dempson and Son, with over 55 years of combined experience making satisfied customers. TV2 Sports Talk always focused on high school sports in the Tuscarawas Valley, talking Strasburg Tiger football, and happy to be joined by Strasburg Jr. Henry Malkowit. And Henry, I guess, talk to us about last week's game. You guys led early, then they came back, but you guys really fought back in what turned out to be a key win for your team.
Yeah, last week was a great week for us. We started out, came out strong, put up points on the board. We really had the momentum going for us. And then going into halftime, we had made a couple mistakes, and they really put some points up on us. And going into halftime, they really had the momentum on us. And one of the things that's really changed this year is we really came up out of halftime. We didn't fold. We came back out. We were ready to fight in the second half. And we had a big play from our senior, Jacob Fondrist. He blocked a kick, took it to the house. That really got us a lot of momentum going, and we just built off that and then took the win.
Henry, like a lot of players here, because of the size of the school, you guys have to play both ways. If you're a talented player, and that you are, you guys go quarterback on defense for you, running back on offense. Which one do you prefer, if you have a preference?
I mean, I don't really prefer one over the other that much, but if I had to pick, I'd probably pick running back. This year we have a great line. I love running behind those guys, and it's going really good so far.
Strasburg Jr. Henry Malkowit, our guest, as we talk Tiger football on DMG Channel 2 from Time Warner Cable. Henry, clearly really a huge game coming up this weekend as you guys start IVC play taking on Central Catholic. What would that mean to the team in terms of momentum, a push toward getting into the playoffs at the end of the year and winning the IVC? How important would this win be if you guys can get it on Saturday?
This is a huge game for us. Starting out IVC play, Central, always a big rival. So I think we just need to come out strong. If we get a win this week, that'll really help us. Be a big game for us.
Take us a little bit off the field with you when it comes to football. Who's your favorite college team? Who's your favorite NFL team?
Definitely all Ohio teams, Ohio State and the Browns. So.
Well, Ohio State, I'm right with you. That's me, Ohio State and Browns. Ohio State, easy to root for the Browns, especially, Henry, after what we saw in week 1. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a little rough, but I'm going to stick with him. Johnny Manziel, I'm staying with him.
Now, one final question. I was trying to get edumacated, as my great-great-grandfather used to say, which isn't the way you say the word. But so your family owns Malkowit Steakhouse, right?
Yep, that's correct.
Now, our cameraman, who is a Strasburg native, Keith Jokey, has never been. My wife and I have been up multiple times, so we live down in the Philly area. Tell Keith why he should come to Malkowit.
I mean, I think it's good food. I've heard from a lot of people, they all say it's pretty good, so I mean, you should try it.
There you have it, Keith Jokey. You're an embarrassment. You've never had Malkowitz in Strasburg, an outstanding steak, the best in the county. Coming up as TV2 Sports Talk continues, we'll talk with Strasburg head coach John Cox one more time about what you can expect to see out of his team offensively and defensively, not only Saturday, but coming up throughout the season as well when TV2 Sports Talk rolls on.
WJER and TV2 would like to introduce you to a new website, WJERTV2.com, where you can watch exciting high school football, soccer, and volleyball replays from TV2 Sports on your home computer, smartphone, or tablet. Also watch the latest episodes of TV2's original programming, Sports Talk, The Garden Girl, The Not So Shy Chef, Off the Record, and Medical Minutes, as well as catch up on local community news and search for local businesses. So make sure to check out the new WJERTV2.com community website where everything's local.
At Bear Carpet One, we're more interested in hearing about your needs than talking about our achievements. Here you will find the best selection of floor covering in the region. Currently we are featuring Lee's Carpet. They have been producing carpet since 1846 and still offer the same quality that has made them famous. Visit our storefront located in Sugar Creek next to McDonald's for our store-wide sale from September 5th through September 13th with special financing. Bear Carpet One, where beautiful is made affordable.
TV2 Sports Talk, as you would expect at this time of the year, focused on football. To be exact, this week, Strasburg Tiger football. I'm WJER Radio Sports Director, back to talking Tiger football with Strasburg third-year head coach John Cox. Coach, in the first part of our conversation, we talked about the defense, mostly for your football team. Tell us a little bit about special teams last week in the win over East Knox. You guys got a huge special teams play that played a big role in the win.
Yes, you know, we work on our special teams all week, and you know, one of the plays that really changed the momentum of that game was one of my big interior linemen, Jacob Fondras, senior. You know, I challenged the boys at halftime that we needed to get the momentum back because they had it right before the half, and we had a 3-and-out with them. They had a 3-and-out, and on the punt, Jacob Fondras busts up through the middle and got that punt, took it pretty much right off the kid's foot, kind of stuck under his arm, and he did the fat man shuffle for about 35 yards and scored that touchdown. So it was really a big turning point in the game. And, you know, Coach Cregan, our special teams guy and O-line coach, always talks about, you know, winning that phase of the game. He said, you know, you got to win two phases of the game, and whether it's offense and defense or defense and special teams or offense and special teams, you know, that's what you need to win to be able to win the game. And that changed the momentum right away. It was night and day after that, you know. And, you know, my hat's off to that kid for accepting the challenge and getting the momentum back for us, you know. And, you know, it is true what they say, you know, the special teams is a big part of the game.
Coach, as a former lineman, what do you think's going through Jacob's head, not as he blocked the punt, but the big fella got the football and then he sees the end zone? You don't see that too much and have the ball in your hands when you're a big fella.
Ironically, Jacob is somebody who has pleaded with me for the last 2 years about getting some sort of backfield play. And my comment to him is always, well, you know, I was a lineman once too, and that thought never entered my mind, you know. And linemen don't grow on trees here at Strasburg, especially guys that are 6'4", 275 pounds. So I said the issue with it would be, you know, who's going to block for you if you go back there? And so after he scored that touchdown, you know, I kind of went up to him and I said, so I don't got to hear any more of this stuff about this backfield stuff with you, do I? And he goes, no. But I know in my days I would have been worried about tripping and falling. You know, the whole crowd's watching you and expecting you to get in. But, I mean, he outran one of their smaller guys. That was what the beauty of it was. I think that end zone was like the carrot in front of the horse, and he just kept going. It was a thing of beauty. I mean, it was an exciting moment for him and his family, and I loved getting to see all of his family members here. Ironically, almost most of them were here that day.
Strasburg head coach John Cox talking Tiger football as they get ready to match up with Central Catholic. Coach, we'll talk about your offense in a moment. Talk to us about the Central Catholic. Obviously, Casey Cummings has really done some good things at TCC. They went to the playoffs a year ago, and despite losing their quarterback in week 1 in a game in which they lost by big numbers on the scoreboard, they've had a new quarterback step in. They've won back-to-back games.
Yeah, you know, I have a great deal of respect for Casey. You know, we're both kind of in the same boat numbers-wise. I know that a lot of people weren't giving them credit coming into this season because they graduated so many players last year. I mean, they were pretty much a senior-laden team, and, you know, my hat's off to him bouncing back. You know, you lose the Soretti kid week 1 against a very, very good Lisbon David Anderson team, and they bring in this kid Dean Green, and I watching him on film, he scares me more than the other kid did. I mean, he's one of them guys that lets everybody sprint it out, and you know, I think Casey likes to spread it out a little bit and run that quarterback. And from what I've saw on film, he's as good a runner as I've seen this season, and it's going to be a big challenge for us. You know, they're that Beamer kid at receiver, you know, we went and watched them play Zanesville this past weekend. You know, he had a couple touchdown catches in that game. So they definitely got some guys that can hurt you. You know, defensively, we're focused on containing that quarterback. And, you know, like I said, I have the utmost respect for Casey. I think he's one of the best coaches in the county. And, you know, being able to do what he does with the numbers that he has, my hat's off to the guy.
Tigers head coach John Cox talking about that matchup Saturday when Strasburg will take on TCC. You talked a little bit about the Saints offense. Tell us about the Tigers offense and what you've liked in terms of coach, what you've seen in the first 3 games.
Well, you know, I boast a pretty good quarterback myself, you know, sophomore Andrew Cregan. You know, it's just so weird to say that because if you were to just watch him on film, there's no way in a million years you'd think this kid was just a sophomore. I mean, not just his size, just the way he hangs in the pocket and plays. You know, he'll stand in there and take the hit, get the pass off, and then as soon as he throws that touchdown pass, he's popping up, and he's one of the first guys down there to congratulate his buddy. And, you know, we have a really close-knit unit on offense. Those skill position guys are very close. You know, they play basketball together. They play football together. They hang out together. You know, it's a big thing for them, you know. As far as our offensive running game goes, Andrew's a big part of that, as well as, you know, Henry Malkowit. You know, Henry had a big game the other night versus East Knox. You know, I had 15 carries for 127 yards and a big 82-yard touchdown to take the lead in the second half. So, you know, we got a fullback named Jay DeBacco who is, you know, I always call him my bull. He churns out those tough yards, and, you know, an old O-line guy loves to have a backfield like that. And, you know, we got some threats on the outside. Garnet Von Kennel, our tight end, he had a touchdown catch last week, and, you know, he's pretty sure-handed receiver for us. Jared Burnworth, another junior wide receiver, he had another touchdown catch the other night, you know, and he's a big, strong kid. He's my Megatron, I guess. And, you know, Shevin Javersack is another kid that, you know, we lost him last week to an injury, but up until this point, he had 12 catches on the season. And, you know, he's about as skilled receiver as I've ever gotten the chance to coach. So, you know, we definitely have some offensive weapons. And an old offensive line guy myself, I couldn't go without mentioning my O-line. And, you know, we got some big guys and some small guys there. You know, it's kind of funny to see a 6'5" Jacob Fondrist lining up to a kid like Lucas Lab, who's about 5'6". But, you know, the Killer Flea does a good job for us. He's not trying to muscle guys. He gets the guys down low, and, you know, he's somebody that's going to cut you, and he's not going to take them guys on up high. And, you know, first-year player Paul Thomas has been a center for us, and senior Dalton Burlingame, he's been a big factor for us this year as far as stepping up his play at guard. And, you know, Austin Sims, he's the other guy on that O-line. And we're hoping to get starting guard Tristan Schubaugh back this week coming up. So, you know, we got depth for once, and I think that's the biggest thing with our team that's made it change. You know, injuries in the past changed everything, and this year we actually got a little bit of depth to work with, and that makes it nice as a coach.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Best of luck this weekend in that IVC opener, and we'll continue to follow you guys all season long.
Thanks a lot, Bill. Always good talking with you.
Strasburg head coach John Cox on TV2 Sports Talk this week. You can see the show every Wednesday evening at 7, Friday afternoons at 5, and check out the website WJERTV2.com for other playback times. You've been watching TV2 Sports Talk on DMG Channel 2 from Time Warner Cable.